What's up, welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here to discuss the rap beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and why that beef is over and Kendrick Lamar has decisively won this rap battle, won this beef. There's a lot to get into with this one. I already started talking about a lot of this when J. Cole released Might Delete Later, so this is kind of a addendum, a sequel to that. But I kind of wanted to let things play out, and I was not expecting to have this much back and forth as we have gone. What I'm not going to do is go through like song by song, go through each line and like analyze the gossip and the tabloid nature of this, who's lying, who's telling the truth. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more about talking about like what this beef is, what this beef isn't, what this beef represents in hip hop, what it means for Drake, what it means for Kendrick, and why this is not something we're probably ever going to see again in hip hop and what that means as well. So let's kind of just jump in. It's funny to think about how long ago this actually started, of course, ignoring how long it's been brewing, but like, of course, this kicked off with Kendrick's verse on the Future and Metro Boomin song Like That. And that was back at the end of March. So it's been about 6 weeks. Where we have here. Fuck Big Three, it's just Big Me. One of the big takeaways from Kendrick there, getting us to J. Cole releasing Might Delete Later, J. Cole basically taking it all back and bowing out of the beef, something that he got a lot of deserved criticism for at the time. But now, once we saw what happened between Drake and Kendrick, everyone's kind of coming back around on Cole's decision making, which is kind of hilarious that it's worked out that way for Cole. If you want to hear my thoughts on Might Delete Later in the context of that time, just check out that review. A big part around when Might Delete Later come out was that Drake hadn't dropped. Drake hadn't responded. Not that he hadn't like acknowledged something, hinted at something on social media. Of course, we know Drake is our subliminal king. He will do stuff like that. And he was kind of referencing things like that, referencing things live while on stage during his shows, things of that nature. But it took a while until Drake released Push Ups, Drop and Give Me 50, which got leaked and then officially was released on DSP's slightly different version. I actually think the leak version's more fun of a listen, to be honest. I gotta say, just as an aside, it was fun when that song leaked because it kind of brought us back to the glory days of the blog era where you had to like search for like CD quality leaks. And it was just from a different time how that felt. And I'm sure a lot of the young hip hop heads had no idea what it was, what they were supposed to do in that moment in terms of trying to get access to a song. That was fun. Push Ups, I think, is a great song and really fun, really catchy. And I think that's what's fun about Drake and what speaks to him in a beef is that Drake now has a history of making several diss tracks that are also fun to listen to. Of course, Duppy Freestyle was a good song, but Back to Back was a smash and also an amazing diss, right? Pusha T, to his credit, Story of Adidon, also a smash, amazing song to listen to, right? So that's where we're at with Push Ups. And, at that point, I thought it was kind of strange that everyone was like, holding up the watch to Kendrick Lamar and being like, yo, Kendrick, get in the booth, bro. It's time to respond to Drake, as if Drake didn't take 3 weeks between Like That and Push Ups to throw his first salvo. I just thought that was kind of strange, like that, uh, unevenness on how people were judging things. Unfortunately, though, Drake was kind of high in his own supply, feeling himself a little bit, and he made a fatal mistake, which was leaking Tailor Made Freestyle. And Tailor Made Freestyle featured AI vocals from Snoop Dogg, someone who's alive, but also from Tupac. And as soon as I heard that, I was immediately against it. It was also not like that great of a song, even without that, but like using AI as a provocation makes you look bad. And you also just let Kendrick drive down the lane to dunk on you. Like, you think using Tupac AI as a way to go after Kendrick, the scion of LA, that's not what you think it is. And actually, it was just a huge self-owned self-L and really disrespectful. I was really happy to see a lot of people just immediately shoot that down, that stunt, just because of how unethical something like that is. It has nothing to do with the beef at all. It's like, why would you dare disrespect Tupac in his grave by using AI vocals? I mean, it's just fucked up. And it's also hilarious that someone like Drake would stoop to that level when he has been the subject of many AI music issues since last year. Of course, remember the Ghostwriter AI Weekend Drake song "Heart on My Sleeve," a song that's actually really fun to listen to, even though it's fake. And by the way, Drake cease and desisted the shit out of AI Drake all of last year, and then he does it himself. It's just very hypocritical of him. About a week after these Drake songs come out, that's when we get the first Kendrick song, Euphoria, and he put that right on blast out on official channels, DSPs immediately. It was a great response, and the only issue I think you could have with it is that it's not the most fun song to revisit. So in that sense, that first round, quote unquote, I think substance wise, lyrical wise, you'd lean Kendrick, but Drake had made the more fun song in Push Ups. What I was not really expecting though is what happened next, where Kendrick actually just unloaded the clip on Drake and just kept dropping songs. I think the 616 in LA song, which came out, which is good. It's a step up from Euphoria as a song to revisit for sure. But I think the artistry of that song, where there's the quadruple entendre of it all, 616, the birthday of Tupac, 616, Father's Day. We know what that means for Drake. 616 in LA as a song title. Of course, the obvious nod to Drake's long-running Time series. And of course, there's a Bible verse reference you can make too. And at this point, with the songs and the songs that will follow, it's been getting pretty like in the mud. A lot of we'll call them allegations, but a lot of negative things being said between the two guys on the tracks. You know, Drake, we kind of know a lot of the things, but being called a deadbeat dad, someone who talks to underage women, and Drake throwing back at Kendrick was calling him a bad husband and things of that nature. Kendrick and also other people involved in and around the beef, like Rick Ross, calling out Drake for being a mixed race man and what his status in hip hop is, whether he can say the N word, things of that. Again, I'm not going to go through the litany of it, but it gets pretty heated. So then on May 3rd, on last Friday, Drake releases his second official song. Tailor Made Freestyle was completely taken down, self-owned again. So he followed up Push Ups and Tailor Made with Family Matters. Again, this was an official single released on all platforms. And this is a song with multiple switch ups. Drake really going after everyone, not just Kendrick, but also throwing shots at people like Metro, people involved throughout the beef. And I think it's a great song. I think Drake really responded well. It's another one that's really fun to revisit. I think the first half of the song or the first section of the song, it's really like three pieces. That first piece, that's a banger. That is really catchy. That is really fun. And I think it's a great diss song. Normally, that would have been enough for, I think, Drake to feel really confident. Unfortunately, though, Kendrick immediately fired back with Meet the Grams later that day. Whether Kendrick had a lot of these pre-written, pre-created, who's to say? Meet the Grams was a mustard beat. 616 in LA is an Alchemist beat. Kendrick accusing Drake of having a hidden daughter, as well as his now unhidden son Adonis. Also calling him a pedophile. Like, it goes after it. Not to mention other, like, more salacious stuff, like Drake being on Ozempic. So much so that Kendrick puts Drake's ostensible Ozempic prescription in the album cover art of Meet the Grams. And something like that really speaks to like the credibility of Kendrick's side of the beef, where he's calling Drake out for having moles in his camp, having snakes in his grass, And then Kendrick releases another song, 2 in a row, follows up Meet the Grams with Not Like Us. And this was the death blow. Kendrick keeping the pressure on and also doing the one thing that everyone would give Drake credit for and denigrate Kendrick for, which was putting something that could be played in the club. Rick Ross literally videoed himself with that song being played at a party. There's a video of Not Like Us being played at clubs in New York this past weekend. Not Like Us, the cover art is Drake's mansion, by the way. Hilarious. But Not Like Us, I mean, that song, man, the OV ho part at the end, it's catchy as fuck, man. It's a banger from Kenny. And, at that part, the most recent entry we have is Drake releasing The Heart Part 6. Of course, a reference to Kendrick songs, Kendrick track series. But it's not a response. It's basically like a PR statement where Drake's denying a lot of the allegations. It's not a diss song. And at that point, I think everyone has conceded that Kendrick won. Kendrick brought it. And it's hilarious to look at how the takes age like milk. The takes about Kendrick taking too long to drop. Kendrick ducking Drake. Kendrick only gonna do it on someone else's songs between Like That and of course the Control verse 13 years ago, whenever that was. You know, it's hilarious to look back on this now, how this has gone the last 2 weeks, and just see the evisceration. And Kendrick's status in hip hop has undoubtedly raised even further, because he won a beef with the king, the top of hip hop, someone who's been undefeatable. Even when Drake has lost a beef before, like to Pusha T, you know, he took some chinks in the armor. Drake's status remained unchanged. Drake's status will still remain unchanged. Drake is still Drake, but Kendrick just obliterated him to the point where Drake had to bow out. And it's crazy. Kendrick is the rap boogeyman with this. Like, this was mean. This was hating ass shit. But putting it on wax, putting it on great songs. Meet the Grams, and especially Not Like Us. These are great tracks. Say nothing of 16 in LA or Euphoria. And again, to Drake's credit, I like Push-Ups. I like Family Matters. I will keep those songs around. I think they are fun. But someone has to win, someone has to lose. I'm curious how hard Kendrick was going to go from the start once Like That happened, A lot of people have pointed to on Push-Ups, Drake saying, "I be with some bodyguards like Whitney." Whitney, not just a reference to Whitney Houston, of course, but also reference to Kendrick's wife. And then Drake kept that pressure going, calling Kendrick a bad husband. As we have no way of knowing, Kendrick's not going to do interviews about it. Notably, though, Kendrick has not been content IDing all the YouTubers that have been talking about the beef and playing his songs. Kendrick's happy to let this play. So, Kendrick won. What a time. What a time. And like I said, we're never going to see something like this in hip hop again. It's not even some kind of hypothetical, all the Atlanta people turn on Gunna, for apparently snitching, even though that's not really what happened. That's not even close to the stratosphere of where we are with this, right? And the whole concept of the big three in rap, Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, well, that has also been the big three in rap, give or take Kanye, for 10 years? It's been forever. And that kind of speaks to hip hop star making problem. There are no new stars to take over. The old stars continue to age. This is new for hip hop. As the top hip hop's upper echelon gets older, the concept of a 40-year-old rapper used to be very novel. It is not anymore, right? Look how old all these guys are. Not to mention all the guys kicking now who are in their 40s and beyond. So, if Lil Baby had some beef with someone, what would happen? It's just never going to be like this. Everyone here is just so ubiquitous, and it's been funny to talk about this beef that has escaped the rap conversation, escaped the rap community. I saw people saying it broke containment. Normies had opinions on Drake versus Kendrick. What other rap beef could they possibly have opinions on? This is the last of its kind. And I think the whole concept of the crown, the concept of the big three, it's almost kind of antithetical to how a lot of other younger rappers, younger artists are moving these days, where people are a lot more disinterested in institutions. And even if that's not a formal institution, it's still kind of it's still kind of a conceptual one. So it's a really interesting time. Be interesting to reflect on. I'm pretty sure Drake's non-response, PR, kind of disastrous, Hard Part 6 should be the end of it. I think Kendrick will probably see no reason to keep the pressure on. He clearly won. Are there questions about things? Is Dave Free the father of Kendrick's kid? Apparently Drake said so. I don't know. You can, again, do the deep dive on all the tabloid allegations and things like that. I'm not so much interested in that. I'll be curious if much comes of it. Do I think Drake's a pedophile? I don't. But we do know he is, DM'd young women before. So it is what it is. But yeah, what did you think of Drake versus Kendrick? What was your favorite song of the beef? We got a lot of them, I think my favorite song has to be Not Like Us, followed by Family Matters. And then probably my next favorite song to listen to might be Push-Ups or Meet the Grams. Hard to say. There's some fun songs throughout this beef. Let me know what was your favorite. And for more rap beef or hip-hop and rap reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.